It's okay. Cool. So today we are talking about a simple but really effective, and I actually think it's over. Do you guys see this like Fathom thing on the right? Or is it not there? Oh, okay, cool. I think I see things on my screen that are not actually visible to you. So I don't know what's in your way. Okay. Anyways, today we're gonna talk about listening to your body versus being soft. And take that part however you want to take it. I love the word soft. Like I love when I call myself soft. Well, I don't love it because obviously I'm calling myself out. But obviously everybody knows how to speak to themselves, how to better motivate themselves. Basically, it's how am I actually listening to my body right now, or am I avoiding discomfort? Am I staying in my comfort zone? Am I choosing the easy way out? And that's something that is quite difficult to know, especially depending on what point of the journey you're on. So today I really wanted to break it down and talk about like the different phases in your journey and how you can really ultimately get to listening to your body. It's kind of like when people talk about intuitive eating, they're like, just intuitively eat, just listen to your body. You're like, what does that mean? Like, I intuitively don't want to eat at all. Like, I barely eat if I eat intuitively. Or on the opposite end, I'm just gonna eat a bunch of snacks all the time. All right. So here we're not chasing that perfection. We are building awareness, and most importantly, we are pushing to be above average. Okay, so the balance. Your body is always going to give you some type of signals, but your mind is going to decide what to do with them, right? Listening doesn't necessarily mean backing off every time that it feels hard. It just means understanding the difference between needing to back off, between that true fatigue, or if it's just mental resistance, or if there's something else going on in our life, right? Again, we're not avoiding discomfort, we're learning that true judgment. So, a question that you can ask yourself is when I feel like pulling back, am I making a choice from awareness? That's number one. Awareness, I'll get into that in a second. Or am I making it based on emotion? Now, awareness, same as intuitive eating. What the fuck does that mean? Awareness, we don't always know exactly what that means. So it's up to us to truly discover what awareness means. So a question that I ask myself is, am I being soft? So when I wake up in the morning and I'm tired and I like didn't sleep, like am I actually tired? Am I actually fatigued? Am I actually stressed? Am I actually under recovered? Or do I just need to like push myself a little bit more? Do I need to get a grip? Am I being soft? Right? So the different eras are going to determine what kind of structure that you need for the most part. Obviously, there's a big blurred lines that kind of go in between this. So at the beginning, whenever we start any type of journey, we are in the discipline era. So that being like the first phase, 0 to 6 months. This is when we need structure over feelings. So there are sometimes times that I'll tell you like, okay, you need to work out Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't care what happens. You are not allowed to move that because if you're in a discipline era, we cannot budge. Right? If you are just starting your journey and you're like, oh, I want to be intuitive and I want to listen to my body when I'm feeling sore, we can't yet because we don't have that consistency, right? We have the awareness era. This is 6 to 12 months, but I think it's kind of from 0 to 12 months is still kind of blurred. Again, we're starting to develop, we already have that structure, and now we're starting to test different things out. We have a little bit more observation. Then we get into that self-trust era. This is when you're like, I would say a year, but even like two. This is when you've hit consistency, right? Like for a fact, consistency is there. You don't really miss. And now you can truly tell the difference, right? So the more consistent that you become, the more freedom that you earn, right? So let's bring it back to the discipline era. So this is where you teach your body and mind what actually showing up means, right? You don't have enough data in order to listen yet. You're still building that. And what I mean by that is you can't wake up in the morning and be like, I'm like super fatigued. Because are you, or like have you not really developed this structure yet and you're not actually sure what super fatigued is? Is 6 hours of sleep one night truly a reason for you to skip the gym? Or have you not been consistent with your workouts? And although, yeah, you kind of slept like shit, you haven't built enough consistency, so you have to get yourself to the gym. So structure is what truly creates that. So we want to think here like you're not being rigid. Well, technically you kind of are. It's not just, oh, I'm being strict, I'm being super disciplined. Like, yes, but you're rebuilding an identity. And when you're building that identity, that old version of yourself is always going to want to be like, but take a day off, right? You know that when you go to like an event and they're like, but just have a piece of cake. And you're like, listen, like I don't want this. Like this is not what I want, right? Old version of you is trying to pull you back into old habits. Old version of you is being like, oh, but you've been so consistent. Take a day off. Oh, but you don't need to track your calories on this day because you're stressed. But that new version of you is saying, like, despite anything that comes up right now, I need to make sure that I stay consistent because I'm not at the point yet where I've truly proved that discipline, where I truly built that consistency. Now, in this time, I think it's very important to ask questions. So if you're not sure, like, hey, I don't know, should I skip a workout? Like I just got my period, or like, should I skip a workout or should I rearrange my workouts because I'm in XYZ stressful time in my life? Like ask questions. That's why we're here. We see it all through every single walk of life. And we've obviously worked with a lot of you, so we can know the difference through our own journey and working with people. And most importantly, trial and error, which I'm going to say over and over and over again. Trial and error is a very, very big part that especially we start to notice here, right? The awareness era. So now we're at like that 6 to 12 mark. You've officially graduated. Phase one, complete. Yay. Phase two, here we go. So you've built that foundation. You've pushed yourself. You've gone a little bit too hard. You've gone a little bit too soft, right? And now we have that foundation where you really can't imagine your life without working out. Like it feels weird when you don't work out after 4 days because it's like, whoa, like I actually like that. Right. So you've already built that foundation. Now it's time to actually like learn the signals that are going on, right? Get really, really deep into this. And how can we start to adjust with intention? So your sleep, right? How does your sleep impact your lifts? And the reason that I say this at this mark and not at the beginning is because once you get to the 6 to 12 marks, odds are if you slept horrible on Sunday night and you move your work or you don't do a workout on Monday, that doesn't affect you. But if you're not at consistency, missing a Monday could actually throw the rest of your week off, right? When you're at the 6 to 12 month mark, you're more likely to say, okay, I'm not going to go Monday, so I'm going to go Saturday, right? So how does sleep impact your lift? And can you start to rearrange it? So you wake up in the morning and you start to actually know, I'm not actually that tired. I've been this tired before and I went to the gym and I was totally fine. Or like, yeah, this isn't, I'm going to have a terrible lift. Like I cannot go right now. Same thing with your cycle. How does your cycle affect your energy? How can we start to be more in tune with that? How can you start to rearrange your workouts a lot more, right? This is something that is super, super, well, has been new for me in the past, I would say like 2 years or so. Some body changes that I've been experiences. And stress response. How does stress change your hunger? How does it change your motivation? And how does it change your energy in the gym? So here is where we're adjusting with intention, not with emotion. We are very aware of what listening to our body is, and we are making sure that we pivot as we go. Again, a lot of trial and error. Trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. And then when we have that self-trust era, here we have a lot more freedom. We have a lot more freedom because we've already built the consistency. We have a lot more freedom because we already know what it is to push ourselves too hard and what it is to push ourselves not hard enough. Think about how we talk about lifting heavier, and in order to understand how much you should be lifting, you have to learn what's not heavy enough and learn what's too heavy, right? So that's kind of like this awareness era. We push and we grind and then we feel like shit and then we rest and we're like, oh, that kind of worked, right? Once we get here, it's a lot easier to modify. It's a lot easier to skip workouts because you've proven that you'll always come back, right? Listening to your body has become more powerful and it's a lot easier for you to have that awareness because you're not avoiding the hard things. You're not avoiding the workout, right? Now, the reason that I say trial and error in all of this is because get to know your body. And I love to like that error part. I like to glorify it. Like, I would love for you to go get a workout when you slept like shit and realize that was so shit and I should not do that again. But because you pushed yourself to that limit, you kind of have a better understanding of what you can do in the future, right? I would love for you to not go to a workout because I don't know, whatever reason, and then you're like, oh, well, I should have just went. That messed up my entire week, right? Trial and error so that you can learn from it. As long as you're learning, there really is no issue with trial and error. You should start to look at it as a positive thing. Now, this can change. All of these things that I just mentioned, right? Discipline era, awareness era, self-trust era, this can all change. So, an example of how it's changed for me, as I mentioned, like with my period. My period never really affected me for a significant part of my life. Would get it, didn't exist, would forget that I even had it, right? Eventually, I started to get cramps. So, what happened was because I never used to adjust any of my workouts, I would just go hard all the time and I would never plan around my period. And then I started to get really, really bad cramps. So, to the point where, oh, I'm actually pushing myself way too hard and I need to learn how to step back, right? So, that's that awareness era. And this is me many, many, many years into training, right? Into working out. Another thing that recently happened to me is I'm in a current era of being soft. So I need to get more strict because this year we talked about the inconsistencies and all this year has brought, but I've recognized like, hey, you haven't been as consistent as you usually are. So I'm not allowing myself to miss any workouts. I'm not allowing myself to adjust workouts as much as I normally would when I'm listening to my body and I didn't sleep that well, right? So understand that this can change. There are going to be periods of your life when you like catch yourself again, you're like, oh shit, like I'm actually not being as disciplined as I should be. And rather than like, oh, just kind of going into it slowly and allowing yourself to still kind of be like, I'm listening to my body. No, right now we are in an era where we need to be super, super disciplined. I need to go after this. So allow yourself to regroup, bring yourself back, test. Is your body changing? When we get older, our recovery completely changes. So, as you start to notice, my body's not recovering the same way. Maybe I need to pull back. Maybe I need to push until you learn, right? And then we get back into that consistency. We really understand our body signals. So, listening to your body versus being soft. What that means is on the left, we have listening to your body. This is resting after like poor night sleeps. I wouldn't even say just three, but like if you're having significant days of lack of sleep, usually for me, if I have like one really horrible day of sleep, I will get a headache, and that headache usually tells me like the degree that I should go back to sleep. But there are some times where I'm like, I didn't sleep that night, but like, Nicole, just go, like you'll be fine, right? Deloading after heavy training, deloading on your period, adjusting your workouts on your period when you're super, super, super sore and you need to move your workouts around. When you're in the beginning of your training programs, when we're in the first 6 months, soreness should never be like, I'm sore and I'm going to move my workout around, or I'm sore and I'm going to skip a workout. Because one, you're always going to be sore in the first 6 months throughout the whole entire thing. Like you're just sore all the time. Eventually that goes away. So in the first 6 months, if you're like, oh, I'm sore, I'm under recovered, I can't go to the gym. No, you're just new. So we need to get past that soreness and eventually you don't really feel that soreness as well. All right, going for a walk because you're feeling sick. All right, now being soft on the other one is skipping the workout because you're kind of tired. Avoiding hard lifts because they are uncomfortable. I don't like this lift. I'm just going to go a little bit lighter or whatever the reason may be. Using PMS, any type of period symptoms, to take multiple days off. So you're taking like 3, 4, or the week off, right? That's not necessarily great. If you're taking first day of your period, I get that. You'll never see me in the gym on the first day of my period, right? Second day of your period, right? Get it. But third day, okay, we need to get back in there. I understand the energy is low, but we need to get back in there because it's also going to help you feel better throughout that. And then consistently modifying workouts. So to a degree, if it always works, if you're moving your workouts and it works for you, but if you're constantly adjusting everything and that leads to you being inconsistent, probably not great. Oof. Okay, not skipping. So, how to tell the difference, right? When you get your period, maybe, depends on who it is, maybe you're skipping 1 day instead of 2 and 3. Maybe you're lowering the weights instead of completely skipping the workout. See how that feels, right? Everybody is different on the period. I'm not going to tell you how you feel on your period, but get to know it. Try it. Go to the gym, be in pain, be like, I'm never doing that again, and never you go up on that. Poor sleep. Adjust intensity as well. So, yeah, if you did have a bad night of sleep, but you're like, okay, I'm in a discipline era, I need to go to the gym. Can we go? But also don't be so hard on yourself. If you had a really bad sleep, and you had also a really bad lift, right? It is what it is. Can we just lift lighter? Or obviously, can we just move it to another day? And then high stress seasons. So this one is, I think, the most I guess the biggest issues that we usually have. There are periods of our life when stress is really high, whether that be because of work, whether that be professional, whether that be because of family, whether that be like anything came up, whether that be just you're not feeling your best mentally. Right? There are periods where we experience high stress. That is another thing that we need to recognize. If life is hard, do I always just completely pull back from my workouts? Do I always just completely pull back from meal prepping and nutrition because life is hard? Not ideal. If you're adjusting, right? If you're sleeping more, if you're creating more boundaries in your life because life is stressful and training is hard and I need to go home and I need to sleep, that is where we're adjusting. That's when we're listening to our body, not life is stressful, I'm going to pull back and I'm not going to do all of the things. When this happens, I always recommend like ask for help. So if you are genuinely going through whatever it is in your life and you're not sure how to maneuver it and you're not sure, hey, should I stop? Like, should I pull back in workouts or should I like push myself? Ask for help so that we can help you through that. So again, pivoting is fine. Constant pivoting is probably not. Structure gives you stability through every season. Whenever there is a high stress period, whenever there is anything going on in your life, the first question that you'll always hear from us is, what can you do? So I know that you want to pull back. Oh, Nicole, life is so stressful. Or like, oh, nutrition is so hard. Okay, what can you do? Right? Can we do 3 workouts instead of 4? Can we track 4 days a week instead of all of the days? Because your weekends are super busy. Right? We will always go towards what is the highest amount that you can do. Practical tools. When your energy, your recovery, your mood is down, very, very simple, ask yourself, like, am I just being soft right now? Am I not pushing myself or do I genuinely need rest? Right? Have that conversation with yourself in the morning. I literally will wake up in the morning, I'll sit up and I'll have this dialogue with myself so that I can work through it. Right? Plan your week and set emergency days. These are my favorite things ever. So my emergency days are on Saturdays. Ideally, I would like to go to the gym Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So my emergency day is Saturday. If for whatever reason I don't want to go any of those days, I can go on Saturday. Now, a question that I will ask myself is, if I don't go now, when am I going to get it done? If I can't go on Saturday, I have to go now. So although I slept not great, I'm going to just sleep better tonight, but I can't go on Saturday, so I have to go now, right? I am going to push myself to go now. And choose your hard. So what that means is, for me, going on Saturday is like not my favorite thing. I don't always love it. So do I want to choose my hard and go on Saturday, or do I want to choose my hard and go when my energy and my mood, if my stress levels are a little bit higher on a Tuesday? Choose your hard, whichever hard you want to pick, like go for it. Now, reflect on previous choices. In the past, when you've skipped a workout because of XYZ, was it a smart choice? Or did you realize, like, I could have been a little bit more tough on myself. I could have expected higher standards of myself. And most importantly, keep your foundation, training, nutrition, movement, anything, your steps, your water. Like, when life is, for whatever reason, that we would have to listen to our body, right? Those are the foundational things that stay. So I bring it back to my period. If I'm not going for a workout on my period, does that mean I'm just like sleeping in and I'm just eating whatever and I'm just not tracking my nutrition and I'm not going for my walks? No, because that's a recipe for disaster. So if one of your habits shifts, that means the other ones need to pick up slack for it. All right. So these are our biggest takeaways. Discipline is going to build self-trust always. Once you have self-trust, that's when you can have more flexibility. Similar to when you are disciplined in learning your macros, your nutrition, your calories, and you actually understand everything and how much you're supposed to be eating on a day to day, and you look down on your plate and you're like, that's probably 500 calories, then intuitive eating makes sense. But if I show you a cup of rice and you have no idea if that's 500 calories or 100 calories, intuitive eating doesn't really make sense because you don't really have the discipline, you don't have the structure, you don't have the self-trust from there. There is no growth without discomfort. There's always going to be some type of there's always going to be some type of discipline era that we're going for. The goal is not to go hard all the time, it's to go smart. And if you do that smart, then you can go hard. So I guess that kind of goes together. And you can listen to your body and hold your standards at the same time. That is where we push on you guys so much. How can you continue to understand bridging two things together? Listening to your body and holding your standards. Listening to your body, but still being above average, right? Similar to how we talk about, you can build a lifestyle and you can also work through body changes. You can think that you're absolutely gorgeous and perfect the way you are, and you can also want to continuously change your body. There is nothing wrong with that. So listening to your body, but keeping that high standard for yourself. All right, these are just a couple more questions that I put, but that is it for today. Remember that food is love and strength is power. Do we have any questions? Oh, your tea is almost out. Any questions, comments, concerns, or anything that you would like to share in terms of today's lesson? It's a pretty simple one. It was just a conversation that I usually base all of these calls on previous conversations, and I'm like, oh, that's recurring. This makes sense. I've kind of heard this a couple times. Let's do a call on it.
This was super helpful for me because it's like the question that I've been thinking about. And after our conversation on Sunday, so I'll share with everyone, like I last minute decided to go to the gym on my day off because I'm going on vacation. I was like, I'm gonna get all four lifts in 4 days, and I don't know how realistic that is. I think I could do three, but I didn't eat enough that day. And then I get to the gym and I was feeling so weak, and I was very angry at myself. So like leaving the gym, and I'm leaving Nicole a voice note. I'm like, I fucked up. Like I didn't eat enough. Like I really didn't have a great lift. And she responds back with, I love this for you because this is gonna be a lesson. And I was like, this is so humbling. I don't like it. But it was also really helpful because it was like it was a lesson that I was like, oh, I do need to pay more attention. Like it wasn't a purposeful skipping of lunch. Like I just wasn't paying attention to my body. Um, and I just like didn't get to push as hard as I wanted to during one of my favorite days. So like that was the punishment. But it was also really helpful afterwards to know that I could still push and like past versions of me would have been like, oh, I didn't eat enough, like I'm feeling weak. I would have just abandoned the workout, and I actually got through all of it. And I was like, once I clicked finish, it was like, oh, you hit a few PRs, and I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that because I was just being so hard on myself for not eating and not feeling strong. That it was actually really nice to just like follow the plan anyway and really not just go based on how you're feeling. So it does work, and it was a really nice, although humbling lesson for me.
I love that. As soon as I put love that for you and I saw you typing, I'm like, she definitely hated that response. But
Like,
it is
no.
true. I think
Why can't we learn the easy way?
yeah, for you, you're also like you just started. So like for I would say like for myself, if I'm like I really didn't eat and I can move my workout or I can make adjustments, but I've also had so much consistency to back it up. I feel you don't have that consistency yet. So like pushing yourself is also proving to yourself that like you can show up and you can do hard things and then that'll kind of snowball into other areas. Obviously, you're not a girl that can't skip meals anymore. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was the
Honor those
the hardest
days. Honor
part.
those days.
But I do something that I mentioned to Alba, by the way, for everybody is like when you are listening to your body, um, and you're changing your intensity, how can you do that without frustration? So like in Alba's case, I didn't eat, I had a shitty lift, and now I'm upset, like I'm frustrated with myself. But like, did you push to the intensity that you could for that day? So if you didn't sleep well, and like maybe you're not lifting as heavy as you usually do, but you're lifting as heavy as you can for the day, that's still pushing to max intensity of the day. If that kind of makes sense. If that's gibberish, I can reframe that. I appreciate you sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, don't skip your meals, everyone. Because like literally the week before, I was like, wow, I'm so strong when I eat enough protein. And then like immediately after, I was like, oh, I'm so weak when I don't eat enough protein.
I have a handy dandy snack in my gym bag.
Yeah, I'm learning that I have to do that for
Just in
myself.
case.
Yeah, just in case.
Does anybody else have any questions? Questions, comments, concerns? Kala, talk to us.
No questions here. Just kind of hyping up the fact that this topic really came at the absolute best time for me. I have been being so soft with myself, like insanely soft to the point where today I was like, what are you doing with yourself? And was just, I let myself get so bored with life, like just not doing anything. I was like, I'm so bored, I'm gonna go to the gym. Like it got to that point where I was like, instead of like, yeah, gym, 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 go, 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 I was like, I'm so bored. I haven't done anything in so long. Let me go work out. And the one thing I always remind myself, because I tend to get into these little cycles of getting soft with myself, but the one thing I always remind myself is I never regret a workout.
Mm.
So that just like sends me, I'm like, I had a great time today. I went killer and now I have a reason to go back tomorrow. So it's always like going that one day and having that really good one workout that locks me back in and I don't like it just snaps me out of being soft with myself because if not, then I'm like soft serve ice cream, okay? I just melt into my couch.
I feel that. Momentum is like a beautiful thing that regardless of what kind of momentum you have, it will keep going. For example, if you have the momentum of not going to the gym, what do you want to do? You don't want to go to the gym, and it's so much easier to skip a workout. When you're sick, when you go on vacation, you're like, "Oh my God, going to the gym fucking sucks." Like it, but as soon as you go, the momentum picks up the other way and it's so much easier to keep going. So I think that first one where you're like, I'm being self, I need to go to the gym, and then everything just kind of sparks back from there.
Exactly.
Love it.
It's okay to be soft every once in a while, but not like this. This was too much. So now I'm back in there.
I feel that. That was me like this past 2 months. Maria would get sick and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go by myself. And I'm like, bitch, what? Go to the gym. That's not even you. You're fine.
You're not the one with the concussion.
I'm
Get
like,
back in
I
there.
literally don't have a concussion. Why did I not? I'm like,
I
no.
have a sympathy concussion. It's different.
Yeah, I'm like, I have to take care of her. No, I don't. She really is fine. So yeah, I appreciate that. We can see that this shit is gonna continuously happen, not only now, but next year and then 2 years from now. You just like catch yourself. Like you know how to get myself back on track and not beat yourself up about it. Any last questions? Even not on today's topic before I let you guys go.
I just want to say thank you for this call. I had my body is kind of going through it, and I'm like, am I coming from an emotional place or is this normal? And I'm like, I'm just gonna ask the coaches, and if they tell me to push, then I'm gonna fucking push. But if they're like, yeah, it's cool, you could take a day, then I know that I'm like, okay, this is normal, and I can listen to my body. I have a problem giving myself a little bit of grace and space because I'm having so many flare ups all at once. I'm like, dude, I already bent on X, Y, Z. It's like, now I got to fucking take an extra day. Like, am I being a puss or like, or is this real? So anytime I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm just being emotional or if I'm just uncomfortable or if there's like a legitimate reason to listen. So I'm still not in that self trust era. I'm just like, I don't know. It could go either way. I'm gonna see what Nicole and Maria say. If they say, bitch, go to the gym, then I'm gonna go to the gym and it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
But
That's part of it too. I've definitely gone. I think this is why sometimes I went through the opposite, being like too soft, because I've gone through when every single workout, every single rep, every single set was so grueling that like I could not recover. Didn't love that, but you also have to go through that where you kind of, oh, that's a kind of a mistake. I think something in your case too is like, I mean, I don't know how showing up to the gym, like for me, the hardest part is getting there. If that's not really the thought, I would go anyways, or and like just warm up.
yeah,
If you're feeling it, maybe pull back and then make that decision more so like in the moment versus beforehand. And the cool thing is like if you're at the gym, you warm up and you start your lift and you're like, no, this is not good for me. Then next time you don't have to do that full going to the gym because you're like, oh, this is what I felt last time I didn't went to the gym and I couldn't work out. So it's better feedback for the future references rather than just like always pulling back every time you kind of feel anything.
yeah. But the good thing about my gym is it's kind of my only social outlet. And there's a sauna, and like
Mm,
people hang out and chat in the sauna. So even today, I'm like, well, I know I'm not going to work out, but I still might go to the gym. I still might go stretch and then hit the sauna. Like it's just part, like I'll go 5, 6 times a week. I'm not working out that much, but like it's not the getting there. For me, it's like, is it dangerous to push?
yeah.
Because I'm kind of a dummy.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I think Carla had like a similar thing where she was constantly getting injured and she was just pushing way too hard.
Hmm.
Obviously unfortunate ways to learn from that, but I think always if you're not sure and then you're feeling is this dangerous, warm up and go lighter. So like, I'm just gonna throw numbers out here, can I do 10 pounds? How does that feel? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Can I do 20 pounds? How does that feel? So like you're really taking a step back and then you're kind of pushing from there, and then maybe the workout is even better. Maybe that workout in itself wasn't the most intense or wasn't the most like effective in your brain, but it'll help you for future references.
Yeah, for sure. And that emergency day is clutch.
Mm,
I always have that Saturday emergency day. Like today, I'm not going to go. I'm just not fighting it. I'm not going to go. It's fine. I'm too sore. But I know Saturday, I'm like, I'll just go Saturday. What the hell am I doing Saturday?
I love that. I feel the same. And then on Saturday, I'm like, fuck,
Yeah. And then I'm like,
fuck
shit,
Tuesday
I
me.
still gotta, yeah, do I go before groceries, after groceries?
Yeah,
Really?
I
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing, and we're always here for those questions if you have.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No. Okay. Wonderful. Love you guys. Oh,
Wait, I have something to say.
go ahead. Two of you.
It's okay to be emotional when you go work out, or if during or before. It's totally fine. Feel your feels. It's the only way you're gonna learn and go through everything.
Tears in the gym.
Cheers in the gym. Let's
Tears in
go.
the gym. That
Yes.
happens.
Happens a lot.
Maria, is that the name of your new mixtape, Tears in the Gym?
Yeah.
She'd be
Uh,
good at that. Actually, I feel like that's so perfect for Maria.
yeah, I'm a big crybaby, and I'm very, very emotional. So when you guys like, I don't know why I feel so emotional. I'm like, cry.
Yeah.
Punch a
I love
pillow
your
if you
sex
need
tape.
to. Cry it out. Go to the gym and lift heavy shit and cry if you can lift heavy.
I support. Oh God, sorry.
Carla, did you want to say something?
Yes, I'm just trying to retrack and see what it was. Oh, yeah, injuries. I'm trying to leave that in the past. But it was definitely a learning experience with injure up here and then injure my back. And then one of them gets better and then the other one gets worse. And it's just like a coin of what am I going to injure next? But I've learned my lesson, I hope. And that's why my goal today, earlier, my win was that I did an exercise and no back pain, because just slowly but surely making sure I don't injure myself anymore.
Yeah, needed. I had a similar thing with like deadlifts. Um, I hurt myself during deadlifts, so then I was traumatized because of deadlift. So then I would really lift too light. And I feel like only just this year I finally started to like push my deadlifts more because it was almost like massive trauma of like not hurting myself again. So
Yeah.
all part of
Mhm.
learning.
That
All
was me with my
part of
squats.
learning.
But it doesn't it feel great once you're back into that rhythm of adding weights to something? It's kind of like the first time when you first started working out and you're like, whoa, I can go heavier. And now it just feels good. I remember the first time that I did a squat with weight, like I walked out of the gym with tears. Like I was just so happy. I was just like, I didn't think I could do this again. I'm like just a breath of fresh air walking out of the gym, realizing that I wasn't broken essentially. Like it just felt so amazing to know that I was capable of coming back from such a weird, frustrating, and uncomfortable injury.
Yeah, part of the journey. Ups and downs. Love that. Alrighty, guys. Oh, Carla, thanks for bringing your dog. If everyone wants to bring their animals, please put them on camera. Thank you very much. Love you guys. I saw your cat, Alba. It's okay. I peeped. I won't miss a Fluffy. I won't miss a Fluff. Bye, guys.